Hey everyone! We're continuing our walkthrough now of SpongeBob Squarepants Battle for Bikini Bottom 15-minute version. This is part 56 of our SpongeBob Squarepants Battle for Bikini Bottom 15-minute version walkthrough. In the last part, we continued on with the kelp forest, finished up the kelp caves and did the kelp vines as SpongeBob. Doing the time slide. And we're right now as Patrick, right in front of the steps to do the kelp vines as him. Because, remember how I said in the last video that there's a sock here? Well, there is, and remember, from when the checkpoint was, instead of taking the bottom leaf, we're going to take the top, because remember, like I said, there's a level right above it a little bit later on after you go on the top of the two leaves after the checkpoint. And then on that path, at the beginning, there's the 50 for this place. And a little bit later on, like say about, I don't know, a quarter or 3/8 down that part of it. I say more likely, maybe even more likely an 1/8. The sock is right there. So we're as Patrick about to go get those two things. And then when we do that, we'll transport back to the spatula named Beat Mermaid Man's Time. And we're gonna just take the teleport box transportation and then go through the gate right after that. Which I believe, when we do the gate stuff, it would probably be 10 minutes on the camera at the latest. So yeah, we'll continue. Well, you could tell, because you could, and then we'll get this one eventually. So we'll continue now. And see, remember, we were as Patrick by the ending of the video about to do the slide. So we're going to start with him now. And we're just doing this for that sock and the 50. But the real reason is for the sock. But anyways, because I just told you there was a 50, it feels like you should get both. Do you see why? Because remember, I said the 50 for this place is a little bit farther towards the a little bit closer to the beginning of the vine I'm talking about than the sock. See, we're almost to the checkpoint. See? It's just open. So now we go on the top leaf. And then go on the leaf above that. Now see, the 50's right there. And right here's the last sock. So let's see if staying on this vine could be applicable, because I haven't tried this vine before. But let me tell you, as a fact, it's more curvy than it is. Okay, well, we just did the main reason, because we just got the 50 for this place and the sock. So now sock-wise, we're now. Hang on, I'm thinking. We're 9/10 done with the game sock-wise. So now, like I said, we're going to go to the spatula named Beat Mermaid Man's Time, teleportation-wise, and then go with SpongeBob in the teleport box, and go back to the kelp forest. Cause see, you'll see a cool new thing that comes unlocked. See, you could tell this gate leads to the kelp vines, so that could prove to you that there's 4. And in this case, there's a gate to go back to the last place, and also a platform, and also right beneath that a bouncy leaf to reach up to there. Do you see that? Because when you go on this bouncy leaf that just came available to us, you could tell it'll lead you onto this platform. Then you could just take a double jump, and then when you pull the R trigger to go to the kelp vines, I believe it takes you back to the end. Let me check. Because I know it does it to the kelp vines, I just don't know which part. Oh, yep, I was right. It was to the end. I thought it would be to the beginning. Like, you know, to do the slide again. Do you see why? Okay, so now since we have everything from the kelp forest, including all the socks, we're now going to get the spatula from Mrs. Puff from finding all the lost campers. Just as soon as I get some shiny objects.
SpongeBob, there you are. Thanks to you, all the campers have safely returned.
See, we're getting a spatula now.
No problem, Mrs. Puff. Any self-respecting sponge would gladly help. And it was actually fun exploring the kelp forest.
Now see, SpongeBob's dialogue box fills it up completely. Do you see that?
You're not so bad when you aren't behind a wheel, SpongeBob. Thanks again.
Always glad to lend a hand, Mrs. Puff.
I found this golden spatula the other day. Why don't you take it? You definitely earned it.
Wow, Mrs. Puff. I'll cherish it always.
Now listen to what SpongeBob and Mrs. Puff say here, but I'll get the spatula in just a minute.
You're still here, Mrs. Puff?
Oh, SpongeBob, I just feel like I'm all over the place these days.
Well, have fun. See you in class.
So now we'll use a bubble feet to get this spatula. And when we collect this spatula, we'll be 29/50ths done with the game. Yeah, 29/50ths, reduced fraction-wise for spatulas. Okay, so now that's all the spatulas in the kelp forest, which should prove to you, place-wise, since we started at 50, that there's 8. Because do you see our number now, spatula-wise? And did you see it beginning-wise for the kelp forest? That could prove to you that there's 8. So now, because we have 2 more spatulas to get, let's think about which of these 2 we have to do. I was kind of thinking of completing Jellyfish Fields and doing the last one in Rock Bottom. So let's do that. So now we'll go to negative the canyons and mesas. Now see, I paused because spatula-wise, it's more close to here. See, I did the gate on the beat too. Did you notice that? See, I killed the tartars on the beat as well. Did you notice that? So now we'll get this one. And now that completes Jellyfish Fields spatula-wise. Do you see that? Now we're gonna undo Rock Bottom. Like the last one in Rock Bottom. Because remember we left the spatula by Mrs. Puff when we decided to do Sand Mountain.
I'm ready for driving school to start up again, after all these robots are gone.
Maybe these robots aren't so bad after all.
I'm ready for...
So now we'll get this spatula by Mrs. Puff. And when we collect this spatula, A, we'll be 3/5 done with the game, and B, we have enough for the Flying Dutchman's graveyard. So now we'll go to the spatula named, and actually C, we have enough for, we've finished up Rock Bottom completely, spatula-wise and sock-wise. So now we'll go to the spatula named on top of the Chum Bucket in Bikini Bottom, because location-wise, it's over there. See, you can see the 60, right? And that's how many spatulas we have. So see, it could prove to you that it's enough for the Flying Dutchman's graveyard. So, which could prove to you that we also need to save our game because of our method. And now we'll go to the Flying Dutchman's graveyard. Now, requirement-wise for the next place...
of ships.
Hang on.
Somewhere among this haunted mess.
See, you could see the Flying Dutchman.
Spectre waits.
So now, requirement-wise for the next place, spatula-wise, we need 75. So getting all of these spatulas might be the case, like we did with the kelp forest. And we might save SpongeBob's dream till a little later. It depends when I decide to, but that might be the case. So, hang on, I have to think of a plan. Or no, I think we'll do the Flying Dutchman's graveyard up till at least the Flying Dutchman battle, and then we'll do SpongeBob's dream. Because remember, like I said, requirement-wise, we need 75, and after we do the Flying Dutchman battle, like we do the work for it, but don't get the spatula yet. Because remember, like I said, requirement-wise, the next place is 75. So I just thought of a plan. Like, do you see how Bikini Bottom is now spatula-wise? This is how it should be, spatula-wise for the Flying Dutchman's graveyard, except this one would be available to get. Like, it would be a black spatula available for transportation. Do you get what I'm saying with that? If so, that's what it'll be. And we do the work for the Flying Dutchman battle, which you could tell will be later on in the walkthrough. But don't get the spatula yet, till after we do the 2 parts of the place that we need the requirement of 75 spatulas for. Does that make sense? If so, that'll be our plan for starting from the Flying Dutchman graveyard. The Flying Dutchman's graveyard parts from these, for these next few parts, let's say. So I didn't realize our camera was almost our limit's almost out of time. So I guess we'll have to stop here. So yeah, that'll end part 56, and I'll see you guys in part 57.